Hello and welcome back to the final session of the Spinal Hygiene training course. I hope you've enjoyed this course. I hope you've learned a ton from it. I hope it's inspired you to go out there and share the message of lifetime spinal care or spinal hygiene with your community, with your family, with your friends. And so I want to end with sharing some tactics that can actually help you to implement this and to kind of tie it all together. And so if you can read this, it says begin with the end in mind. And that's really what we're doing when we're teaching people to take care of their spine and keep good spinal hygiene, is they're beginning with the end in mind. The end is a healthy spine. But we can take that even further, and I tell a story about a weight loss seminar that I went to. It really has nothing to do with spines or health or chiropractic, right? But it was a big weight loss seminar. If I mentioned the company, you'd know their name. And I was listening to this person speak to thousands of people in the audience that were there to learn about weight loss so they could teach it to their patients. And he said, never accept a patient that doesn't agree to do maintenance care, right? And that kind of hit me like weird, you know? And they were like, and here's why. Because if you accept a patient into your weight loss program, and let's say they lose 100 pounds, but then they quit and they don't go on your wellness or they don't go on your maintenance phase and they just quit, and then they gain all of that 100 pounds back, were you successful? And the answer was no. You're not successful if they gain all their weight back. And in fact, even worse than that, that person will then tell the next person and tell everybody that they know that they tried your program and it didn't work. And so that hit me hard as a chiropractor, because I wasn't really telling my patients up front when they start a corrective care plan. Let's say they went through a 24-visit corrective care plan in the beginning. I wasn't telling them in the beginning that I'm going to recommend wellness care after they get done with their initial corrective care plan. So we built a care plan, and I give it to a lot of our members, our spinal hygiene coaching members. And let's say this is my care plan sheet, okay? Now, the first part of my sheet is corrective care, and it's going to have a price for the corrective care and a price for my home spinal care kit. And I can't tell you or recommend enough, I recommend you give your patients a home spinal care kit, and I recommend our spinal hygiene kits specifically because they're built around lifetime wellness, and they're built around just keeping and educating people how to keep their spine healthy. But if you put that into their care plan and everybody gets it, then they begin to learn about lifetime spinal care. They begin to learn about spinal hygiene and taking care of their spine, and then they're even more likely to begin wellness care in your office. So it ends up building retention, and you end up building this huge wellness practice inside of your corrective care practice, okay? But that's why on my care plans, even though this is it talks about my corrective care plan here, and then it has the price for my corrective care plan, it has the price for our spinal hygiene kit, this is a wellness plan. Now, why would I give a wellness plan attached to my corrective care plan? Because it does have the price for wellness, but they don't have to pay it right now. They get their care plan throughout a couple of years, but this is what we're taking care of now. While they're in pain, if they come into our office with a problem, they get corrective care plan, but they can see on their corrective care plan that I'm going to recommend maintenance. I'm going to recommend wellness after my corrective phase. And this was such a breakthrough for my office. I mean, it was just, once we started actually doing this, people stopped asking me what happens after my care plan. Because before, I had a lot of people that were going through, they were getting adjusted, and they were always like, hey doc, man, I'm gonna miss you when I'm done with this care plan, or what happens after I finish my 24 visits, you know, and all this stuff. And I don't get those questions anymore once we started using this program, because now they know that I'm going to recommend wellness care. They know how much it's going to cost. We're beginning with the end in mind. That doesn't mean that 100% of people convert from corrective care to wellness care, but it does increase my conversions and my percentage. And I'm putting the spinal hygiene kit in the beginning, right? So they know that I'm here to help them take care of their spine forever and teach them how to practice great, healthy spine care. And so even if they don't continue with wellness, they have this awareness that they need to be doing something on a continued basis, on an everyday basis, to take care of their spine. And having this care plan just like this, and you know, I'll try to provide this care plan, or at least a copy of mine to you to show you what it looks like, was just revolutionary in my offices to build retention and build wellness, which is something that I hope you want to do in your practice. And then guys, the only last thing I have with you in closing is not only begin with the end in mind, put wellness into your programs, start with the spinal hygiene kits, get it to them on day 3 or day 2, whatever it is for you, and make sure that they're building this awareness of spinal hygiene, lifetime spinal health. But it's also my recommendation to you to do it yourself. Okay, start implementing this today. Be congruent. If you're going to ask your patient to do something, do it yourself. So every morning, get up, do your range of motion exercises. Every night when you go to bed, get your spinal molding rolls and put them in. And by the way, look, if you have a patient that can't afford care, can't afford spinal molding rolls, just tell them to do the range of motion exercises and roll a towel and put it in their spine, in their neck, and their lower back, right? But I guarantee you, if they're coming to your office for an exam, they can probably afford these types of things. They can probably afford your care plan if they see the value in it, which this is going to help build that value. But do it yourself. Be congruent. Get your range of motion exercises in, get your spinal molding exercises in, and then do the head forward posture exercise with the resistance band and your wobble disc exercises every day, or at least 3 to 5 days a week, and you can practice great spinal health and spinal hygiene, and you'll be a great example for your patients, and wellness will just start growing inside of your office. Retention will begin to grow, and it's just going to be a lot better off than being stuck in a pain-based clinic. You'll also be helping our world, our society, our culture with this devastating disease called degenerative disc disease. All right, guys, thanks so much for being part of this course, and thanks for investing the time and the energy. Let's do this. Together, we can share the message of lifetime spinal care. We can share the message of spinal hygiene. I'll talk to you on the next one.